Across California, some cities are facing a surge that many local officials say they were never fully prepared for. Over the past few years, reports estimate that millions of undocumented immigrants are living across the state, and in certain cities, the population shift has been rapid and overwhelming. Schools are becoming crowded, housing is harder to find, and emergency shelters are filling faster than ever. For some communities, the change has been so sudden that city leaders are scrambling to keep up with growing demands on public services. But here's the question many people are asking. Which cities are feeling the impact the most? While major headlines often focus on border crossings, the real story is unfolding inside neighborhoods, schools, and job markets across California. Some cities are seeing rising pressure on housing, healthcare, and infrastructure, while others are struggling to balance economic needs with limited resources. The reality is complex, and the effects are playing out differently from one city to the next. In today's video, we'll reveal 10 major California cities experiencing the biggest impact, counting down from number 10 all the way to number 1, a city where the situation has become especially intense. Some of these places might surprise you, and the stories behind them are far more complicated than most people realize. If you care about understanding the real stories shaping our world, please subscribe and become part of this growing community seeking the truth. Number 10, Sacramento. When most people think about immigration pressures in California, they usually picture border towns or massive cities like Los Angeles. But surprisingly, the state's capital, Sacramento, has been experiencing a steady and noticeable rise in migrant arrivals over the past few years. Unlike border regions that are used to sudden waves of migration, Sacramento has traditionally been a government and administrative hub, not a frontline city dealing with population surges. One of the biggest challenges Sacramento is currently facing is housing availability. The city was already dealing with a tight housing market, but with more people arriving in search of opportunity, affordable housing has become even harder to find. Local shelters and temporary housing programs have reported increased demand, and community organizations are working overtime to support families who are trying to settle and rebuild their lives. Another area feeling the pressure is public education. Schools across Sacramento have seen an increase in enrollment for migrant families, many of whom require language support programs, counseling services, and additional educational resources. Teachers and school administrators are adapting quickly, but the sudden growth has created new challenges for already stretched school budgets. Interestingly, Sacramento's job market is also part of the story. The city has growing industries in construction, agriculture support services, food processing, and hospitality, which often attract migrant workers looking for stable income. For many businesses, these workers are essential to keeping operations running smoothly. However, the situation is complex. While migrants contribute to the local workforce and economy, city leaders are also trying to balance the increased demand on housing, healthcare, and public assistance programs. So the big question becomes, can Sacramento continue to grow and adapt without overwhelming its infrastructure? As migration patterns shift across California, Sacramento is quietly becoming one of the cities watching these changes unfold in real time. And this is only number 10 on our list. The next cities are experiencing even bigger challenges and dramatic population shifts. Number 9, San Jose. At number 9 on our list is San Jose, the beating heart of Silicon Valley and one of the most economically powerful cities in the United States. Known for its booming tech industry, innovation hubs, and high-paying jobs, San Jose has long been a destination for people searching for better opportunities and a new beginning. But in recent years, the city has also been experiencing a noticeable rise in undocumented immigrant populations, bringing both opportunity and serious challenges. One of the biggest issues San Jose faces today is housing affordability. Even before migration increased, San Jose was already one of the most expensive housing markets in America. Now, with more people arriving in search of work, the demand for low-cost housing and rental units has grown even stronger. Many families find themselves sharing small apartments or living in crowded conditions just to stay close to job opportunities. Another pressure point is the city's public support systems. Community organizations and local programs are seeing increased demand for legal aid, healthcare services, food support, and language assistance. These services are crucial for helping families adapt and integrate into a new environment, but the rapid growth has stretched resources thin in some neighborhoods. Despite these challenges, San Jose's strong economy continues to attract workers. Industries such as construction, hospitality, landscaping, food services, and maintenance rely heavily on immigrant labor. Many businesses quietly depend on these workers to keep daily operations running. Still, the balancing act remains difficult. City officials must manage economic growth, housing shortages, and public service demands all at the same time. The result is a city trying to maintain its reputation as a land of opportunity while facing increasing pressure on its infrastructure. And remember, this is only number 9 on the list, meaning the cities ahead are facing even bigger population shifts and more intense challenges. If you want to keep discovering the powerful stories shaping our world, please subscribe and join this growing community today. Number 8, Fresno. Coming in at number 8 is Fresno, a city located in the heart of California's Central Valley, one of the most productive agricultural regions in the entire world. Known for its vast farmland, fruit orchards, and vegetable production, Fresno has long depended on migrant labor to keep its agricultural economy running. But in recent years, the city has seen a noticeable rise in undocumented immigrant populations, bringing both economic benefits and growing challenges. Unlike many big cities, Fresno's situation is deeply tied to agriculture and seasonal labor demands. Farms in the surrounding areas rely heavily on workers for harvesting crops, like grapes, almonds, oranges, and tomatoes. Because of this, migrant workers often move to Fresno and nearby towns looking for steady work during harvest seasons. For local farmers, these workers are absolutely essential to maintaining production. However, as more families settle in the area, the city has begun to experience increasing pressure on housing and community services. Affordable housing has become harder to find, and many migrant families are living in crowded apartments or shared homes. Local shelters and community aid organizations have reported growing demand for food programs, healthcare assistance, and legal support services. Education is another area seeing change. Schools across Fresno are welcoming more students from migrant families, many of whom require English language support and specialized educational programs. Teachers and school administrators are working hard to help these students succeed, but the growing numbers are stretching resources. Despite these challenges, Fresno's economy continues to rely heavily on the hard work and dedication of migrant laborers. Without them, the region's massive agricultural industry would struggle to function. But as the population continues to grow, the question remains, can Fresno balance economic dependence on migrant workers while managing the pressure on housing and public services? And remember, Fresno is only number 8 on our list. The next cities are facing even bigger challenges and even larger population shifts. Number 7, Oakland. At number 7 on our list is Oakland, a vibrant and culturally rich city located across the bay from San Francisco. Known for its diversity, historic neighborhoods, and strong community activism, Oakland has always been a place where different cultures come together. But in recent years, the city has also been experiencing growing pressure linked to rising undocumented immigration, adding to challenges that were already affecting the community. One of the biggest issues Oakland is facing today is housing availability. The city has struggled with housing affordability for years due to rapid development and rising property prices across the Bay Area. Now, with more migrant families arriving in search of safety and opportunity, the demand for low-cost housing, rental units, and temporary shelters has increased significantly. For many residents, finding affordable housing has become more difficult than ever. Another major concern is the strain on community services and public programs. Local nonprofits and city-funded support systems are seeing more requests for food assistance, healthcare services, language support, and legal aid. These organizations play a crucial role in helping families adjust to their new environment, but the sudden increase in demand has stretched many of them to their limits. At the same time, Oakland's local economy still depends heavily on workers in industries like construction, transportation, hospitality, and warehouse logistics. Many migrants find employment in these sectors, contributing to the city's workforce and helping businesses operate smoothly. However, city leaders are now faced with a complicated challenge: how to maintain economic stability while managing the growing pressure on housing, public resources, and infrastructure. Oakland's situation shows just how complex migration can be for cities already dealing with economic inequality and housing shortages. And remember, we're only at number 7. The cities coming next are facing even more dramatic population shifts and challenges. If stories like this matter to you and you want to stay informed about the realities shaping communities today, please subscribe to the channel from the heart. Number 6, Bakersfield. Coming in at number 6 on our list is Bakersfield, a rapidly expanding city located in California's Central Valley. Known for its strong roots in agriculture, oil production, and logistics, Bakersfield has become a magnet for people searching for affordable living and steady work. But as migration patterns shift across California, the city is now experiencing a noticeable rise in undocumented immigrant populations, creating new challenges for local communities. One of the main reasons migrants are drawn to Bakersfield is its relatively lower cost of living compared to cities along the coast. While places like Los Angeles and San Francisco have become extremely expensive, Bakersfield has historically offered more affordable housing and job opportunities. This has made the city an attractive destination for families hoping to start fresh and build a stable future. However, this rapid population growth is beginning to place pressure on housing availability. Neighborhoods that once had manageable population levels are now seeing increased crowding, with multiple families sometimes sharing the same home or apartment to reduce costs. As demand rises, affordable housing is becoming harder to secure for both newcomers and longtime residents. Healthcare services are also feeling the impact. Local clinics and hospitals have reported increased demand for basic medical care, emergency services, and family health programs. Community organizations have stepped in to provide support, offering assistance with food programs, health services, and legal resources for migrant families. At the same time, Bakersfield's economy continues to rely heavily on migrant workers in agriculture, construction, trucking, and warehouse operations. These industries depend on a steady labor force to keep businesses operating and supply chains moving. This creates a complicated reality for the city. While migrant workers help fuel economic growth and productivity, the rapid increase in population is putting additional strain on housing, healthcare, and public infrastructure. And remember, Bakersfield ranks only number 6 on our list, meaning the cities ahead are dealing with even more significant migration pressures and dramatic changes. Number 5, San Diego. Landing at number 5 on our list is San Diego, one of the largest and most well-known cities along the US-Mexico border. With its beautiful coastline, thriving tourism industry, and strong military presence, San Diego has always been a city shaped by international movement. But in recent years, it has also become one of the places most directly affected by surges in undocumented immigration, placing the city at the center of a growing national conversation. Because of its location just north of the border, San Diego is often one of the first major cities migrants encounter after entering California. This has made the city a key location for processing centers, temporary shelters, and humanitarian support services. At times when border crossings increase, local organizations and authorities must quickly adapt to provide food, transportation, medical care, and temporary housing for new arrivals. These sudden population surges can create pressure on local infrastructure and public services. Emergency shelters sometimes fill quickly, and nonprofit organizations often step in to help manage the situation. Volunteers, churches, and community groups frequently work together to support migrants who may be arriving after long and difficult journeys. Housing is another major challenge. San Diego already has one of the tightest housing markets in the country, with high rents and limited affordable options. When more people arrive seeking stability and work, the demand for low-cost housing and temporary accommodation grows even stronger. At the same time, San Diego's economy benefits from migrant labor in industries such as construction, hospitality, agriculture, and service work. Many businesses depend on these workers to fill essential roles that help keep the local economy moving. But the balancing act is delicate. City officials must constantly navigate the line between humanitarian support, economic realities, and the limits of local infrastructure. And remember, we've only reached number 5. The cities still ahead are facing even larger impacts and more dramatic shifts. If understanding the real challenges shaping cities today matters to you, please subscribe and be part of this journey with us. Number 4, San Francisco. At number 4 on our list is San Francisco, one of the most famous cities in the world. Known for its iconic Golden Gate Bridge, booming tech industry, and progressive policies, San Francisco has long been a destination for people seeking opportunity and a fresh start. However, in recent years, the city has been facing growing challenges linked to rising migration and increasing pressure on public services. San Francisco already struggled with one of the most expensive housing markets in the United States. Even before new migration waves, many residents were finding it difficult to afford rent or buy property. With more people arriving in search of work and stability, the demand for affordable housing, shelters, and social support programs has grown significantly. This has made an already difficult housing situation even more complicated. Another area under pressure is the city's public support system. San Francisco offers a wide range of services including healthcare programs, food assistance, and emergency housing. As more migrant families arrive needing help to settle in, the demand for these services continues to increase. Local authorities and nonprofit organizations have been working together to expand support programs, but resources remain limited. Education is also part of the picture. Schools across the city are welcoming more students who may require language assistance, cultural support, and additional academic resources. Teachers and administrators are working hard to integrate new students while maintaining quality education for everyone. Despite these challenges, migrants also play a role in supporting San Francisco's workforce. Many work in industries such as hospitality, construction, cleaning services, food preparation, and delivery, helping businesses operate in a city known for its fast-paced economy. This creates a complicated reality for San Francisco. While immigration contributes to the city's diversity and labor force, the increasing population is placing significant strain on housing, public budgets, and local infrastructure. And remember, we're now approaching the top 3 cities where the impact becomes even more dramatic. Number 3, Long Beach. Coming in at number 3 on our list is Long Beach, a major coastal city in Southern California known for its busy seaport, diverse communities, and strong international connections. For decades, Long Beach has been a gateway for trade and migration, welcoming people from all over the world. But recently, the city has been experiencing increasing pressure linked to rising undocumented immigration, creating new challenges for local infrastructure and community services. One of the biggest reasons migrants are drawn to Long Beach is the city's massive port and logistics industry. The Port of Long Beach is one of the busiest shipping ports in the United States, supporting thousands of jobs in warehousing, trucking, construction, shipping, and transportation. These industries often rely on a steady labor force, which attracts many migrant workers searching for employment and stability. However, as more families arrive, the city has started to feel the strain in several areas. Affordable housing has become one of the most pressing issues. Rental prices have steadily increased over the years, and with additional demand for low-cost apartments, many families are forced to live in overcrowded housing conditions just to remain close to work opportunities. Education is another sector experiencing noticeable change. Schools in Long Beach have reported growing numbers of students from migrant backgrounds, many of whom need English language learning programs, counseling support, and specialized educational resources. Teachers and administrators are adapting, but expanding programs requires additional funding and planning. Healthcare services and community assistance programs are also seeing higher demand. Clinics, nonprofit organizations, and local aid groups are working hard to provide medical care, food support, and legal guidance for families trying to establish a new life in the city. Despite these pressures, migrants continue to play an important role in Long Beach's economy by filling essential jobs that help keep industries moving. And now we move closer to the top of our list because the next 2 cities are experiencing some of the most dramatic impacts of all. Number 2, Los Angeles. Taking the number 2 spot on our list is Los Angeles, one of the largest and most influential cities in the world. Known for Hollywood, massive cultural diversity, and endless economic opportunities, Los Angeles has long been a destination for people searching for a better life and new beginnings. But in recent years, the city has also been facing growing challenges linked to rising undocumented immigration, placing enormous pressure on housing, public services, and local infrastructure. Los Angeles has historically welcomed immigrants from many parts of the world, helping shape the city's vibrant cultural identity and powerful workforce. Entire neighborhoods have grown around immigrant communities, contributing to industries such as construction, hospitality, food services, transportation, and domestic work. For many businesses, migrant labor plays a crucial role in keeping daily operations running smoothly. However, the scale of the city also means the challenges are massive. One of the biggest concerns is housing availability. Los Angeles already faces one of the most severe housing shortages in the United States. With more people arriving every year, the demand for affordable apartments, shelters, and temporary housing has skyrocketed. As a result, many families struggle to find stable living arrangements, and overcrowded housing situations have become more common. Public services are also feeling the pressure. Schools, healthcare facilities, and community assistance programs have seen increasing demand for language support services, food assistance, legal aid, and healthcare access. Local authorities and nonprofit organizations are constantly working to expand resources, but meeting the needs of such a large and growing population remains a major challenge. Despite the difficulties, migrants continue to contribute significantly to Los Angeles' economy and cultural diversity. Their work supports key industries and keeps the city's fast-paced economy moving forward. And now we arrive at number one, the city experiencing perhaps the most intense impact of all. If you want to stay informed about the powerful stories shaping our communities, please subscribe and be part of this growing journey with us. Number one, El Centro. Taking the number one spot on our list is El Centro, a small city in Southern California that many people have never even heard of. But despite its modest size, El Centro has found itself at the center of one of the most intense migration pressures in the entire state. Located in Imperial County, just a short distance from the US-Mexico border, this quiet community has become a key point where the realities of immigration are felt more dramatically than almost anywhere else. Unlike major cities with millions of residents and large budgets, El Centro is a much smaller city with limited infrastructure and resources. That's exactly why sudden increases in migrant arrivals can have such a powerful impact here. When large numbers of migrants pass through the region, local shelters, transportation systems, and public services can quickly become overwhelmed. In recent years, the area surrounding El Centro has seen significant increases in border crossings, with migrants arriving from many different parts of the world. Many are seeking asylum or hoping to find opportunities in larger cities across California and the United States. However, before they move on, many pass through or temporarily stay in El Centro, which places unexpected pressure on the local community. Local authorities, nonprofit groups, and volunteers have often stepped in to help provide temporary shelter, food assistance, medical aid, and transportation support. These efforts show the strong community spirit of the region, but they also highlight how challenging it can be for a small city to handle large-scale migration flows. At the same time, the surrounding Imperial Valley agricultural industry continues to depend on migrant labor, which plays an essential role in harvesting crops and supporting the local economy. El Centro's situation shows how immigration can affect cities in very different ways. While larger cities deal with population growth and infrastructure strain, smaller communities like El Centro face the challenge of limited resources meeting sudden demand. As we've seen in this countdown, the story of immigration across California is far more complex than headlines often suggest. From large metropolitan centers like Los Angeles and San Francisco to smaller communities like El Centro, each city is experiencing the impact in different ways. Some are dealing with rising demand for housing, healthcare, and public services, while others are balancing the need for workers in industries like agriculture, construction, hospitality, and logistics. What makes this issue even more complicated is that immigration brings both opportunities and challenges at the same time. Migrant workers contribute significantly to the economy by filling essential jobs that help businesses operate and industries grow. At the same time, sudden population increases can place pressure on schools, infrastructure, housing markets, and community support programs. Cities must constantly adapt, finding ways to support growing populations while maintaining stability for longtime residents. Another important reality is that every city on this list is part of a larger national conversation about immigration policy and economic development. Local governments, nonprofit organizations, businesses, and communities are all trying to navigate solutions that balance humanitarian concerns, economic needs, and limited resources. And perhaps the most important takeaway is this: behind every statistic or policy debate are real people, real families, and real communities trying to build better futures. Understanding the challenges cities face is the first step toward having more informed and meaningful conversations about how to move forward. The situation continues to evolve, and the way cities respond today will shape the future of their communities for many years to come. Whether through new policies, community initiatives, or economic changes, California's cities will continue adapting to one of the most significant demographic shifts of our time. The question now is, how will these cities balance growth, opportunity, and stability in the years ahead?